Hands up if you love overtime. Okay, so if you're a Bolts fan, you don't have your hand up right now. So this was a really interesting game in that there were a couple of calls that made both fan bases angry. So two wrongs make a right. Right? No? All right. So Fogel denied an early fast break. That should say Hedman. Hedman denied an early fast break for Fogel. So this is where when you're going back and forth between two games and I legit sometimes have two markers in my hand, and I always try to make sure it's different colors. I don't know why. I just make sure that each game it's different colors on the board. I don't even know if anybody notices. I have no idea. But yeah, it was Hedman that denied an early fast break for Fogel. The shots were 2-0 for the Canes at 4 minutes. They came out to play. They understood just how important tonight's game was. The Canes were forcing turnovers. First Bolt shot was for Hedman at 5:18. Notice I didn't write Fogel again. Um, and 2 out of 4 times in their history that Carolina's been down 2 games to nothing in a series, they've won. They've won the series, including in 2019, where they were down 2 games to nothing against the Caps. So, and Montreal fans remember that too. So, being down 2 games to nothing for Carolina, not necessarily a big deal. Hedman with a fast break. Mrazek makes the save. Mrazek was very good tonight, and I thought it had the effect that you would hope it does, switching out the goaltenders. Svechnikov had a break the other way. He was forced wide. Palat, he had a backhand that was stopped as the Bolts pressed. Sorelli then with a wraparound. That was stopped. Mrazek denies Stamkos. Things get kind of stormy at the Canes net, so I'm not going to say scrummy. I'll say stormy. Sure, because lightning and hurricanes, and it's very, very frightening. And should Bohemian Rhapsody be like the theme song of this series now? Or no, we're not going to do theme songs? All right. So, yeah. Things get kind of stormy there. Shots were 6-2 for Tampa at the half, so the Canes had the early jump, but then the Bolts fight right back. Canes get some pressure. Bolts defended there. Slavin denies a Bolts breakaway pass. Stamkos then hit the outside of the net. Hakanpää took a puck to the face. That looked like it hurt. McGinn with a fast break defended by Chernak. Vasilevsky saves. The Hakanpää shot, though, it went up his stick and into the face, so that probably slowed it down a bit. It still looks like it hurts. So I'm not volunteering to take a puck in the face. Bolts then get the puck to the crease, couldn't bury it. Hedman blocks a Teravainen shot at the other end. Sergachev's stick decides to commit suicide. The Canes push the other way off of that. And I don't know what's going on with the sticks tonight, but anyway. Teravainen was denied. Things get kind of stormy after that. Late Canes power play. Bolts kill it off. No shots on that power play for the Carolina Hurricanes. So we go to the second period scoreless. Early on, Svechnikov had a chance that was stopped. McGinn then had a shot saved on some good pressure by the Canes. So they come out and they start strong in both the first and second period. Ruda fires one wide. The Canes defending Bolts rush chances. Gaudreau had a shot that was blocked by Teravainen. And then Pesce scores. This is the first lead of the series for Carolina and the first 5-on-5 goal of the series for Carolina. Svechnikov and Aho with the assists at 5:15, and that quieted the fans down a little bit. Not as much as the Aho goal did at 7:40 from Teravainen and Slavin. That's the first goal by a forward 5-on-5 in the series for Carolina. And it was a nice stretch pass, got Aho in alone. So Palat tries to answer. He does draw a power play there. Kucherov then tested Mrazek right off the face-off. They would score on that power play at 8:57. Point from Kucherov and Stamkos. So the 2-goal lead doesn't last that long for Carolina. Great three-way passing play on that power play goal. No chance for Mrazek, who again, really good game for Peter Mrazek tonight. Canes would then try to answer. Chernak defends a Teravainen shot. Some physical play along the boards. Not an overly physical game tonight, but there were some good hits in there by both teams. Martinook had an outside shot that was saved. Hedman with a net drive. Hakanpää defends that, so he got his face stitched up and went right back on the ice. Some stormy stuff takes place again. Some good back and forth action. And then with 4:08 left, the Bolts go back to the power play. One thing the Canes are going to have to work on between now and Saturday's game is that penalty kill. Because the power play comes through again. So that 2-goal lead is gone by the end of that second period. Killorn on the power play from Kucherov and Point at 16:18. Last minute, we get some stormy rumbles going on in at a whistle, which means some sticky, pokey, punchy, checky stuff going on out there. You know, the you come here a minute, you come here a minute. Fogel had exited the game. Fogel took a hit, which may have been an interference call that they missed. But it was clear that he hurt his shoulder. And in the third period, he tried to come back into the game. Lasted one shift, I think they said it was 29 seconds, and clearly his shoulder is done. Like it's they'll say it's an upper body injury. It's his shoulder. It's the only thing it can be because he came off doing this. So if a guy comes off the ice that means I don't want to move my arm because my shoulder hurts. So yeah, Fogel being out would be a pretty big blow to a Carolina team that's already dealing with not having Niederreiter and not having Trocheck, right? So big early saves by Mrazek. Canes get a 2-on-1. Stahl just missed the puck. It's just ahead of him. Slavin's shot was stopped by Vasilevsky, who had a pretty good game to that stage. Mrazek then denied Coleman. Canes with back-to-back icings, but they would manage to clear it out on their third opportunity. And so, again, you know, we're starting to see in some of these games where teams will just take the repeated icings. It feels like it's happening more now than it was in the first round. Shea then with a net front pass to Necas nearly connects. Again, there are a couple of plays early on here where the Canes, if that puck's just a little bit back, if it just doesn't take that little deflection, Canes could have won this in regulation tonight. So Slavin had a shot that hits the outside of the net. The Canes play was definitely picking up as we got through that third period, although the shots didn't. Stahl had a chance that was blocked. The Bolts really couldn't wind it up. And with 7:25 left, it already felt like overtime. Because the Canes were getting that zone time. They're not getting enough shots, but they're getting zone time. So, right? So Fast had a tip that was saved by Vasilevsky. Again, zone time for the Canes. Bolts keeping him to the outside, not allowing a lot of shots. Tampa Bay presses then with 3 minutes left. With a minute and 29 seconds left, Tampa Bay really dislikes an icing call. So they consult, and they decided to put the puck at center ice. Now, during the regular season, this happens all the time. During the playoffs, it feels like the most important thing in the world when they get that icing call wrong, right? So they do decide to put it at center ice, which is the right call. With a minute and 8 seconds left, Hamilton goes to the box. To say Rod Brindamore was unhappy with that call would be an understatement. The kinds of things he was saying and the way that he was discussing this from the bench probably would have led to a bench minor during the regular season as well. It was pretty loud, pretty brash there. And then in the closing seconds, we get some robbery by Peter Mrazek to force the overtime. So in overtime, Shea blocks a Kucherov chance as the Canes did finish the kill. They just hang on and kill that off, right? The Bolts would press after that, though. They had opportunities in overtime. Vasilevsky then stops a one from Svechnikov. Braden Point was robbed. Bolts with a couple of really prime chances. Just can't get them to go. Mrazek, really a good game there. Outside of the post got hit. And on that play, Kucherov ends up taking a penalty. So it's one of those things where you don't want to see a guy take a penalty, but you really don't want to see him take a penalty at the other end of the ice. And it was a holding the stick call, which Tampa Bay didn't like. They didn't like it. And then coming out of that into that power play, we get a shorthanded chance for Cirelli. Stahl had a chance that was saved, puts the rebound off the side of the net, and it really looked like Tampa Bay was going to kill this off. But Aho scores the power play marker from Teravainen and Hamilton at 6 minutes. Tampa Bay unhappy. Killorn went after the ref after the game. Kucherov came out of the box. Funny thing was, he said something to the ref, and I swear the referee he was talking to said, "I didn't make that call. I didn't call it." Like that. That's like, I was like, "I want to talk to your supervisor." No, it wasn't my call. I don't talk to the other guy. That, at least that's from reading lips, that's what it looked like he said was, I didn't call it. Sort of a, don't look at me. But yeah, Carolina wins 3-2 in overtime. Tampa Bay now leads this series 2-1. And for Carolina, they need to do it again in Game 4. They need to steal another one in Tampa. Shots were 10-9 Tampa in the first, 13-9 Tampa in the second, 9-5 Tampa in the third. In the overtime, Tampa outshoots them 5-4. Final shots were 37-27 for the Bolts. Power plays 1 for 3 for Carolina, 2 for 3 for Tampa. Hits were 33-29 for Carolina. Block shots 13-10 in favor of Carolina. Mrazek saves 35 out of 37. Great game for Peter Mrazek. Vasilevsky saves 24 out of 27. Can't say anything bad about him. He's still the best goalie in the league. But tonight, Mrazek upstaged him. and was the first star of the game as well. So for Carolina, they're now officially in this, and there won't be any sweeps of the 2 series that were played tonight. It's still up in the air as to whether or not we could end up with a sweep in the other 2 series, but we'll find out tomorrow whether we get closer to sweeps or if other teams that currently have goose eggs next to their record in their series end up getting that first win. But yeah, so Carolina tonight, gutsy win. We'll see how long Fogel's going to be out, and what his status is, we'll probably know soon. I would think shoulder injury, but they'll call it upper body. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.